Most people know they're capable of more, but they stay stuck doing the same things every day. They keep saying tomorrow or I'll change when the time feels right. But deep down, they know the truth. They're not living as strong, focused, or disciplined as they could be. This version of themselves that avoids discomfort, gives up too soon, makes excuses, and hides behind fear, isn't who they're meant to be. That's the weak version. And if you want to feel proud of the person you see in the mirror, it has to go. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being honest with yourself. It's about waking up and realizing that your time is limited, and every choice you make is either building the life you want or dragging you further away from it. You don't need more motivation. You need to take action even when you don't feel like it. You need to hold yourself to a higher standard, even when no one is watching. And you need to stop protecting the version of you that avoids responsibility, runs from challenge, and settles for comfort. In this video, we're not going to talk about theories or fluff. We're going to walk step by step through what it actually takes to build the strongest version of yourself. You'll learn how to stop lying to yourself, how to build habits that last, how to silence the inner voice that keeps pulling you backward, and how to wake up every day with a real sense of direction and purpose. If you're tired of going in circles, if you're tired of looking back with regret, and if you're ready to finally become someone you can respect, this is where it begins. Not tomorrow, not when you feel more confident. Now, stay with this video until the end, and give yourself the chance to rise above the old habits, the old excuses, and the old limits. This is your wake-up call. It's time to kill that weak version of yourself and start building the life you know you were meant to live. Chapter 1. Destroy all excuses and take full responsibility today. Excuses are the quiet poison that kills potential. Every time a person blames their lack of progress on something outside of themselves, they hand away their power to grow, to change, and to lead their own life. The truth is, nothing changes until responsibility becomes personal. It doesn't matter where you started, what happened yesterday, or who failed you along the way. What matters is what you choose to do about it right now. The moment someone decides to stop blaming their environment, their past, their parents, the government, or bad luck, they begin to take their life into their own hands. That moment is the true beginning of personal growth. Taking responsibility doesn't mean taking the blame for everything in life. It means recognizing that while you cannot control every situation, you always control how you respond to it, and your response defines your future. Excuses are the tools the weak version of yourself uses to stay in control. That part of you wants comfort, it wants safety, it wants to avoid risk, confrontation, discomfort, effort, and even truth. It tells you stories like, I'm too tired, it's not the right time, or I'm just not lucky like other people. These are not facts, they are lies wrapped in convenience. People cling to excuses because they are easier than effort. It's easier to say you don't have time than to admit you don't have discipline. It's easier to say you're unlucky than to admit you've been avoiding action. But the longer you protect these excuses, the longer you delay progress. You don't need a perfect past to create a powerful future. You just need the courage to own everything from this moment forward. When you do that, the excuses lose their power, and in their place you find something stronger. Accountability. Taking full responsibility is not something that happens overnight. It's a mindset you build. It starts by looking in the mirror and choosing honesty. Be brutally honest with yourself. Where are you falling short? Where are you pretending you're doing your best when deep down you know you're not? Where have you been blaming others when you should have been building better habits? These aren't easy questions, but they are necessary ones. Because until you face them, nothing will change. The people who grow the fastest are not the most talented or the most fortunate. They are the ones who stop waiting for life to hand them opportunities and start building them instead. They don't wait for motivation or permission. They don't blame the system or their history. They decide today that this is their life and they are in charge of it. They move with purpose, even when life is unfair. They fall, but they own the fall. They don't play the victim, they become the builder. There is deep power in saying, "This is on me." That single statement is the beginning of freedom. Because when it's on you, that means you can fix it. You can change it. You can do something about it. That shift from blaming to owning opens the door to growth. It makes you stronger because it removes helplessness. The weak version of you will fight this. It will say things like, "But this isn't my fault," and that may be true. But fault and responsibility are not the same thing. You may not be at fault for everything in your life, but you are responsible for what happens next. That's the part that matters. Responsibility gives you clarity. When you take ownership, you stop waiting for others to change. You stop expecting the world to be fair. You stop wishing for easier and start building stronger. You look at what is and say, "Now what can I do about it?" That single shift will set you apart from most people. Because most people stay stuck in blame. They wait, they hope, they complain, but they don't act. Acting requires courage. It requires maturity. And most of all, it requires self-respect. There is no growth without responsibility. You can listen to all the advice in the world, read every book, watch every motivational video, but if you still make excuses for why you're not changing, you will stay exactly where you are. You can't trick yourself into transformation. It only begins when you choose to be real with yourself. You have to look at your life and admit what you've been avoiding. Have you been wasting time? Have you been avoiding hard conversations? Have you been choosing comfort over progress? These are the questions that separate those who live intentionally from those who live by default. Responsibility also requires patience. Because when you finally start taking charge of your life, it won't change overnight. It won't be perfect. You will fall. You will mess up. You will have days where you want to go back to blaming. But don't. Keep showing up. Keep taking ownership. Keep asking yourself, what can I do better? That mindset is what kills the weak version of you. Not a single moment of anger or motivation, but a daily commitment to stop making excuses and start taking action, even when it's hard. If you want a better life, you have to take full responsibility for the one you have right now, not half, not part, full. That means your habits, your thoughts, your choices, your relationships, your attitude, your time, your energy. Every part of your life is a reflection of what you've accepted. If you're not proud of it, that's okay. Don't hate yourself. Just decide to do better. You can start small. You don't have to fix everything today. But you do have to stop pretending that it's someone else's job to fix it for you. Real confidence doesn't come from pretending things are fine. It comes from knowing you are capable of handling life as it comes. And the only way to build that kind of strength is by taking ownership of your path. People will disappoint you. Plans will fall apart. Life will challenge you. But if you take responsibility for your actions and your mindset, you'll always have control over your future. You'll adapt. You'll grow. You'll get back up. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be honest and committed. Stop saying "I can't" when you mean "I won't." Stop blaming the past when the future is still unwritten. Stop protecting your weaknesses with reasons and start strengthening your discipline with choices. Choose the hard thing. Choose the honest thing. Choose the thing that will make you stronger, even if it's uncomfortable. When you catch yourself making excuses, pause. Interrupt that thought. Ask yourself, is this helping me grow or keeping me stuck. Almost every excuse is a form of self-sabotage. It gives you a way out when you should be stepping in. It gives you permission to avoid the work. And while that may feel easier in the moment, it costs you in the long run. It costs you confidence. It costs you momentum. It costs you the life you could have had if you'd just taken responsibility. You are capable of more than you think. But capability means nothing without accountability. You can have potential and still waste it. You can be smart and still stay stuck. You can want change and still make excuses. The only thing that turns potential into progress is responsibility. You have to wake up each day and say, "This is on me, and I'm ready to act." Make this a practice. Start each morning by asking yourself, "What am I responsible for today?" Write it down. Speak it out loud. Hold yourself to it. And at the end of the day, review it. Ask, did I show up fully today? Did I own my actions? Not to judge yourself, but to stay honest. To stay awake. To stay on track. The people who live great lives don't get there by chance. They get there by consistency, and consistency comes from accountability. You can't afford to keep living under your own excuses. They're not protecting you. They're not helping you. They're holding you back. Destroy them. Every single one. Every time they show up. Crush them with action. Show yourself what happens when you stop playing small. Show yourself what's possible when you stop avoiding the truth. Show yourself that the strongest version of you has been waiting on the other side of responsibility all along. It won't be easy. And it shouldn't be. Growth requires effort. It demands discomfort. It takes sacrifice. But it also brings pride. It brings power. It brings the deep peace of knowing you are no longer living as a victim of your circumstances. You are living as the author of your life. That is where strength begins. That is where the weak version of you dies, at the feet of your honesty, your effort, and your discipline. This is the call. No more blaming. No more waiting. No more soft talk or self-pity. Kill the weak version of yourself today. By taking full and final responsibility for your life. Do it not once, but daily. Choose to own your path, your choices, your growth, and your results. Because no one is coming to save you. No one is going to do the work for you. And nothing changes until you change. You are stronger than your excuses. You are better than your past, and you are ready to live fully awake. Own it all. Every choice, every mistake, every victory, every moment. That's how you rise. That's how you win. That's how you kill the weak version of yourself and finally become who you were meant to be. Chapter 2. Build daily discipline and stop negotiating with comfort. Discipline is the quiet strength that builds the life you want when motivation fades and comfort tries to take control. Every person reaches a moment where they must decide whether to continue doing what feels good or to start doing what makes them stronger. That moment comes not once, but every day, sometimes every hour, and what you choose in those small moments decides who you become. There is no mystery around progress. People who grow, succeed, and live with pride don't rely on bursts of energy, they rely on systems. They rely on the personal agreement they've made with themselves to do what matters, whether they feel like it or not. Comfort is not a reward, it's a trap. It's the place your weaker self wants you to stay, because it feels safe, but nothing meaningful happens there. Every time you sleep in when you plan to rise early, every time you skip a workout, delay a hard task, or avoid a tough decision, you feed that comfortable side of yourself. That version of you will always give you a reason to quit early or start tomorrow. It doesn't speak in loud commands. It whispers soft justifications like, "You've done enough, You're too tired, you deserve a break, and those whispers, when obeyed regularly, turn into patterns. Those patterns shape your identity. Discipline isn't about living without rest or peace. It's about choosing the actions that keep you in control of your life. The moment you start negotiating with comfort, you start losing ground. Discipline is the agreement you don't break, especially when no one's watching. You don't wait to feel ready. You don't hope to feel energized. You decide to follow through on what you told yourself you would do. That's where power begins. Because anyone can be consistent when everything feels right, but strength is built when you act despite resistance. No one drifts toward discipline. You build it by showing up repeatedly, even when it's uncomfortable, inconvenient, or boring. It's forged in silence, in early mornings, in tough decisions, and in all the times you choose what's right over what's easy. Daily discipline isn't some complicated plan. It's the habit of doing what matters most, every day, without needing applause or immediate reward. And the good news is, it's built one decision at a time. Start by choosing one simple commitment you'll keep no matter what. Wake up at a certain hour. Exercise every morning. Read for 15 minutes. Journal before bed. These are not huge things, but they are defining things, because they send a message to your mind that you are in control, and that small signal repeated daily rewires the way you see yourself. You stop identifying as someone who tries. You start becoming someone who follows through. But the moment you start negotiating, when you say, just this once or I'll do it later, you give your comfort zone a seat at the table. It will always vote against growth. That's why the strongest people don't debate with that voice. They act, they move, they've already decided. Discipline is not a talent, it's a practice, and it becomes easier when you stop giving your weaker self the microphone. To build daily discipline, build structure. Don't rely on memory or willpower. Set routines that make decisions automatic. When your alarm rings, get up without delay. When it's time to train, show up without question. When you sit down to work, focus without checking distractions. When the schedule says it's time to unplug, rest without guilt. This removes decision fatigue and puts your energy where it belongs, on execution. Also, keep your environment in check. A person who wants to eat clean but surrounds themselves with junk food is not serious. A person who wants to grow but fills their time with entertainment is not aligned. Your surroundings either support your discipline or sabotage it. Clean up your space, remove easy escapes. Make the path of discipline the default, not the difficult option. Another key is to stop chasing motivation. It comes and goes. Some days you'll feel on fire, other days you won't. That's normal, but discipline doesn't care about your feelings. It's not emotional. It's a decision you make with your eyes open. You know it's hard, and you do it anyway. You know it's tedious, and you stay focused. That mindset builds grit, and grit is what keeps you going when others quit. You must learn to be proud of boring consistency. The world celebrates flashy outcomes, but real pride comes from the small victories no one sees. The days you work when tired, the meals you prepare when it's easier to order out, the hours you read when you could scroll. These invisible wins are the ones that shape the visible life you want. And when you stack enough of them, you start moving with quiet confidence. You don't need to explain yourself. Your life starts speaking for you. But don't confuse discipline with perfection. You'll make mistakes. You'll slip. What matters is how quickly you reset. One missed day doesn't break you. Quitting on yourself does. When you fall off, don't waste time feeling bad. Get back to the basics. Recommit. Restart. Real discipline includes recovery. It's not about being rigid. It's about being relentless. It also helps to remember your why. Discipline without purpose becomes punishment. But when your daily actions are connected to something meaningful, a vision, a mission, a standard, then each choice becomes a part of something bigger. You're not just saying no to comfort. You're saying yes to the life you want. Keep that picture clear. When temptation rises, return to that image. Ask yourself, does this move me closer to the person I want to be? If not, say no with strength. People often admire those who seem highly disciplined, but they don't see the internal battle behind that discipline. They don't see the mental choices made every day. You won't feel strong in the beginning. It will be uncomfortable. You'll crave old patterns, but stay with it. Eventually, the things that once felt hard will feel normal. Then they'll become your new baseline. That's growth. And once you build discipline in one area, it spreads. When you start training your body consistently, your confidence grows. When you manage your time better, your focus sharpens. When you speak with honesty every day, your relationships deepen. Discipline creates momentum, and momentum builds belief. You start realizing that there's more inside you than you thought, but you must protect it. It's easy to let one excuse in, one skipped day, one broken promise, one lazy choice, and soon the cracks spread. That's why disciplined people stay alert. They track their habits. They check their progress. They measure what matters, not out of obsession, but out of respect. They know how fragile progress can be. They know comfort is always waiting for an opening. So they stay sharp. You have a choice every single day. Choose structure over chaos. Choose effort over ease. Choose responsibility over excuse. That choice will feel uncomfortable at first, but in time, it will feel like home. And that's when you'll know the weak version of yourself is losing its grip. Every disciplined day is a blow against that weaker self. Every time you act without negotiation, you take back more of your mind. You are not here to live on autopilot. You are not here to chase comfort. You are here to grow, to rise, to earn the quiet pride of doing what you said you'd do. That pride is worth more than any short-term ease. That pride is what builds a strong, steady life. And you can start building it right now. Make a decision. Set a standard. Stick to it. And when the voice of comfort tries to bargain, answer with action. Show up. Again and again. Because the person you're becoming is worth it. Chapter 3. Wake up early and lead your day with purpose. Waking up early is not just about starting the day sooner. It's about claiming control before the world begins to demand your attention. It's a personal declaration that your time belongs to you, not to distractions, noise, or the chaos of unplanned moments. When you rise early with intention, you give yourself space to think clearly, act deliberately, and connect with the direction your life is heading. The quiet hours of the morning are a gift that most waste. They scroll through their phones, hit snooze multiple times, or rush into the day already behind. But those who lead their lives from a place of purpose understand that how the day begins often shapes everything that follows. The way you spend your first hour matters more than people realize. It determines your mindset, your energy, and your priorities. If you wake up late and scatter your attention right away, you move through your day reacting instead of leading. You respond to messages, interruptions, temptations, and pressures without ever taking the time to ask what actually matters today. But when you rise early on your own terms, you set the tone, you decide what matters, you direct your focus, you build momentum that lasts far beyond the morning. Building the habit of rising early requires more than just setting an alarm. It requires intention. It's about creating a routine that makes getting up meaningful. People don't stick to habits that feel empty. But if you know that your mornings are the one space where you have total command over your environment, your actions and your mind, you begin to treat that time as sacred. It becomes your training ground, not just for the day, but for your entire life. You don't just wake up early to do more, you wake up early to become more. The early hours hold a clarity that no other part of the day offers. There is no noise, there are no distractions, there's no rush. You can breathe, you can reflect, you can make decisions without pressure. That clarity allows you to look at your life without filters. You can see what needs to change, you can check in with your goals, you can ask yourself hard questions. That time, when used properly, becomes a mirror, and every strong person uses that mirror to grow. But this kind of morning doesn't happen by chance. It requires structure. Decide what time you will wake up and don't negotiate with it. Place your alarm across the room. Don't touch your phone when you rise. Begin with something intentional. That could be stretching, journaling, reading, or reviewing your goals. What matters is that your first action is something you chose, not something that was chosen for you. If you begin the day in control, it becomes much easier to stay in control. People often say they're not morning people, but the truth is, no one is born with a perfect rhythm. Your habits train your body and mind. If you stay up too late doing things that don't build you, your mornings will always feel like punishment. But if you begin sleeping earlier and setting up your environment for rest, you'll begin to experience mornings as a place of power. Getting up early doesn't drain you, it strengthens you when done right. It allows you to breathe before life becomes noisy. One of the best uses of an early morning is mental preparation. Before you touch your work or check your phone, ask yourself what kind of person you want to be today. How will you lead yourself? What needs your focus? What do you need to stop doing? These questions sound simple, but they are rarely asked. Most people jump into activity without alignment. Then they wonder why they feel tired, frustrated, or aimless by the end of the day. That's the cost of skipping your morning intention. But you don't need a perfect plan, just a few minutes of clarity. That's often enough to prevent hours of wasted motion. Leading your day means you walk into your work, your relationships, and your tasks with a grounded mind. You're not easily pulled by emotion. You're not scattered. You're not desperate for stimulation. You've already centered yourself. That gives you an edge in every area of life. You listen better, you think sharper, you act faster, and over time, this builds a kind of internal authority. You begin to trust yourself more. You stop chasing energy from the outside. You create it from within. Mornings also offer a chance to build discipline. If you can win the first hour, you're more likely to win the rest. You've already proven to yourself that comfort doesn't control you. You've acted before you were ready. You've prioritized purpose over pleasure. That momentum carries into everything you do. Even small wins, like making your bed or preparing a healthy breakfast, create a mindset of execution. You begin your day with progress, and progress fuels more progress. The discipline of early rising also creates a foundation for long-term change. It trains your mind to act without waiting. It sharpens your ability to focus. It makes you more intentional with your time. And it allows you to work on things that matter without interruption. If you want to build a skill, start a project, or change your direction in life, the morning is the perfect time to begin. There's no audience, there's no rush, it's just you and the work. That space is rare, and it's priceless. But the strength of a morning routine doesn't come from intensity, it comes from consistency. You don't need to do everything perfectly. You just need to show up every day. 5 minutes of clarity is better than 1 hour of chaos. One good decision made early can prevent 10 poor decisions made later. If you miss a day, don't spiral. Reset the next morning. Each new sunrise gives you another chance to lead yourself forward. Some of the most successful and centered people in the world wake up early, not because they enjoy suffering, but because they understand value. They value silence, they value clarity, they value uninterrupted time, and they respect themselves enough to create that time, even when it's difficult. This isn't about copying someone else's routine. It's about taking ownership of your time. It's about stepping into your day with focus instead of distraction. The goal is not just to be awake, it's to be awake with purpose. That means every part of your morning should serve you in some way. If something makes you sharper, calmer, stronger, more grateful, more aligned, keep it. If something drains you, dulls your focus, or steals your time, cut it. Your morning routine should evolve with your life. It should reflect your priorities. It should support your goal, and it should give you the kind of internal strength that makes you harder to shake. This level of personal leadership creates momentum that compounds over time. You'll begin noticing how much more control you have over your emotions. You'll start seeing opportunities you used to miss. You'll feel more steady in the face of chaos, and you'll stop drifting. You'll stop reacting. You'll stop waiting, because each day will begin with intention. Each day will start with movement. Each day will remind you that you are capable of leading your life instead of watching it pass. You won't always feel like getting up. There will be mornings when the bed feels too warm and the silence feels too sharp. But that's where growth happens. That's where the old version of you begins to fall away. Every time you rise before comfort wants you to, you grow a little stronger. Every morning you lead yourself instead of following emotion. You become more disciplined, and every decision you make in those early hours builds the future you say you want. This isn't about perfection, it's about consistency and purpose. Show up for yourself in the morning, and you'll learn how to show up everywhere else. Decide that your time matters enough to protect. Decide that your energy is too valuable to waste. And decide that every morning is a chance to shape the life you are creating. Not by chance, but by choice. Chapter 4. Track your habits and eliminate the lazy ones fast. Most people don't lack potential, they lack awareness. They drift through their days, repeating small actions without realizing those actions are shaping their identity, their results, and ultimately their future. You don't become lazy overnight. You become lazy one overlooked habit at a time. The patterns you allow, especially the small ones, build the structure of your life. That's why the first step to change is observation. If you don't track your habits, you're walking blind. You can't fix what you're not honest about. Growth starts with seeing things clearly, not pretending they're fine. Tracking your habits isn't about perfection or punishment. It's about paying attention. When you write something down, you begin to see yourself as you really are, not as you wish to be. Most people assume they're working hard, eating well, staying focused, but the numbers always tell the truth. If you track how many hours you waste, how often you scroll, how frequently you skip the hard things, you'll get a mirror that doesn't lie. And in that mirror you'll find power, because once you're honest about your behavior, you can change it. You don't need motivation, you need measurement. Start by choosing 5 key habits that shape your life. They might be exercise, sleep, reading, screen time, deep work. Track them every day without judgment. Use a notebook, an app, a wall chart. It doesn't matter. What matters is consistency. You're not tracking to feel good, you're tracking to get better. When you begin to observe your real patterns, 2 things happen. You become more mindful in the moment, and you stop lying to yourself about your progress. Lazy habits don't always look like laziness. Sometimes they wear the disguise of rest. Sometimes they feel like small indulgences, but over time, they become default behaviors. Checking your phone every 5 minutes doesn't feel like much until you've lost hours. Skipping one workout feels minor until it turns into weeks. Pushing off tasks becomes easier each time until procrastination becomes a personality. These patterns creep in silently. That's why you have to catch them early. The longer they stay, the deeper they root. Eliminate them fast before they become part of your identity. You won't eliminate lazy habits by wishing they'd go away. You replace them. You build structure. You create triggers. You remove friction. If you waste time in bed every morning, leave your phone in another room. If you scroll too much at night, schedule something productive that forces you off the screen. If you snack mindlessly, stop buying the junk. Don't rely on willpower. Design your environment. Make bad habits harder. Make good ones easier. Change becomes simple when you remove the option to be lazy. There's a reason disciplined people often seem minimal in their routine. It's not because they're obsessed. It's because they've learned that every habit competes for attention. They know that wasted actions lead to wasted life. They don't just focus on doing more. They focus on doing less of what weakens them. They remove excess. They eliminate friction. They choose simplicity. Because every unnecessary behavior drains energy. Every bad habit costs something, even if it feels harmless. The weak version of you wants comfort without cost. It wants reward without work. It wants results without consistency. That version of you will try to justify every lazy habit. It will say, "I need a break. This isn't a big deal," or "I'll fix it later." You have to recognize that voice and interrupt it. That voice is the gatekeeper to stagnation. You defeat it, not by arguing with it, but by acting faster than it can speak. If you feel resistance to a productive habit, start anyway. Don't wait to feel ready. Read the book. Do the reps. Begin the work. You don't kill laziness with intention. You kill it with movement. Each time you complete a good habit, track it, check it off, log it, document it. This is more than data. It's proof that you're becoming the person you want to be. Your brain begins to associate action with identity. You stop saying "I'm trying" and start saying "I'm doing." Over time, that builds trust in yourself, and that trust becomes momentum. One good habit feeds the next. One small win starts a chain. This is how real change happens, not through hype, but through repeated action. There will be days when you slip. That's expected. You're human. But don't let one bad day become a bad pattern. Review your habits weekly. Look at the data. Where are you consistent? Where are you falling off? Don't make excuses. Make adjustments. Habit tracking is not about being perfect every day. It's about staying aware and staying honest. If you're not progressing, it's not because you're broken. It's because your habits are misaligned with your goals. Align them. Then stay the course. Most people overestimate how much they can change in a week and underestimate how much they can change in a year. Daily tracking forces you to see the low game. You realize that one workout doesn't change your body, but 200. One journal entry doesn't change your mind, but months of reflection do. 1 hour of deep work won't change your future, but 1,000 will. Tracking lets you see that consistency beats intensity. It reminds you that progress is earned through patience and effort, not shortcut. Lazy habits die when you stop giving them room to breathe. Fill your time with things that build you. Replace empty hours with structure. Replace avoidance with action. Replace excuses with clarity. The version of you that wins in life is not more talented. It's more consistent. That version lives with intention. It doesn't tolerate small lies. It doesn't hope things improve. It tracks, it acts, and it adjusts. That's who you're becoming. If you want to stop feeling stuck, stop living blind, open your eyes to what you're really doing. Write it down. Face the truth, then act. You don't need more time. You need better use of the time you already have. Every minute counts. Every habit compounds. The person you are becoming is shaped not by what you occasionally do, but by what you repeatedly do without excuse. You are responsible for what you allow. If your days are filled with distractions, cut them. If your routines are weak, strengthen them. If your excuses are growing, confront them. This isn't about being harsh, it's about being free. Free from inconsistency. Free from regret. Free from pretending that life will change without action. There's a reason high performers track everything. It's not because they're obsessive. It's because they understand leverage. They know that small changes, done daily, lead to massive shifts. They don't rely on memory or guesswork. They measure. They reflect. They improve. You can do the same. Start today. Track what matters. Eliminate what weakens you. Build what strengthens you. And never let laziness hide behind the lie of just this once again. Chapter 5. Push through fear and do the hard thing now. Fear is not the enemy, inaction is. Fear only grows when it is obeyed. It becomes stronger every time you step back, every time you wait, every time you decide that the right moment hasn't come yet. The longer you avoid what's difficult, the more powerful that fear becomes. It begins to shape how you move, how you speak, and how you think. You start living in a shrinking space, not because you're not capable, but because fear convinced you that growth is unsafe. The truth is, doing the hard thing now is often the only way to weaken the hold that fear has on your life. Every person who has accomplished something meaningful has stood face to face with fear and moved anyway. They didn't feel ready. They weren't fearless. They didn't wait for a perfect day. They made a decision to move in the presence of fear, not in its absence. That decision is where strength begins. Fear will always exist where growth exists. If you want to live a stronger life, you must stop asking fear for permission. You must stop letting hesitation define your path. You already know what the hard thing is. It's the conversation you've avoided, the responsibility you've delayed, the project you've postponed, the change you keep saying you'll make someday. It lives in your thoughts, quietly reminding you of what you haven't done, that tension you feel, that pressure in your chest when you think about it. That's a signal, not a stop sign. It's your mind telling you where your next level is hiding. It's not waiting in ease. It's waiting in effort. It's waiting behind the task you don't want to face. The only way to kill fear is by walking through it. Thinking about it won't change it. Planning endlessly won't shrink it. Reading about courage won't create courage. Action is the only antidote. The more you act, the less power fear holds. Not because fear disappears, but because you prove to yourself that it doesn't control you. You take away its authority by refusing to freeze. You silence its voice by moving with clarity, even if your hands are shaking. You do not need more time. You need more courage. And courage isn't something you wait for. It's something you create in the moment. Courage lives in motion. It is born the second you lean into the discomfort instead of backing away. Fear says, "What if it goes wrong?" Strength replies, "I'll handle it if it does." That's the mindset that transforms people. That's the mindset that opens doors fear tried to keep shut. Fear often dresses itself as logic. It says things like, "Think it through, wait until you're ready," or "Now's not the time." But most of the time, those are just clever ways of hiding. You know the difference. Deep down, you can tell when you're being honest with yourself and when you're just looking for a way out. Stop entertaining the lie that fear is protecting you. It's not. It's delaying your progress. It's costing you time, confidence, and self-respect. Doing the hard thing now is not about punishment. It's about freedom. Every time you finish something you feared, your world gets bigger. You earn respect from yourself. You build a new baseline. You create a new story. Suddenly what used to scare you becomes your strength. But that shift only happens when you act. Not once. Not when it feels dramatic. But consistently. Quietly. Intentionally. Especially when no one is watching. You need to stop assuming that action must feel right before you take it. You will never feel completely ready to face what you fear. That feeling won't come. You will feel doubt. You will feel hesitation. You will feel discomfort. That is normal. That's not a problem to solve. It's a signal to move. Growth is uncomfortable. That's why most people avoid it. That's why so many people stay stuck in the same patterns for years. Not because they can't change, but because they never confront what's hard. If you want to build real strength, begin with what you're avoiding. Make a list of what you fear, then do something about it today. Don't wait for the perfect plan. Don't overthink the first step. Just move. Even a small step taken today is stronger than a perfect step delayed forever. Action builds evidence, and evidence builds belief. The more you see yourself acting in the face of fear, the more you believe you are capable of more. That belief is worth more than any temporary comfort. The hard thing you're avoiding is not just a task, it's a test. A test of your discipline. A test of your commitment. A test of your integrity. It's easy to say you want to improve. It's harder to do the thing that proves it. Talk is cheap. Plans are easy. But execution, that's where the gap is. That's where the real separation happens. People who rise are not the ones with the least fear. They are the ones who act the fastest when fear appears. If you wait too long, fear will give you reasons to quit. It will collect every past failure and play them back. It will remind you of every doubt. It will magnify what could go wrong. And if you stay still, that voice gets louder. But if you act quickly, if you step into the challenge, you break its momentum. You stop the spiral. You take the power back. You remind yourself that you are not defined by your fear. You are defined by your response to it. You don't need to be reckless, you need to be honest. If something matters to you and you've been avoiding it, that is your work. Do it now, not tomorrow. Not when you feel more confident. Confidence is built by doing, not waiting. And the more you delay, the heavier the task becomes. The only way to lighten the weight is to face it. Start. Finish. Repeat. There's a version of you that doesn't hesitate. That version acts. That version finishes. That version handles difficulty. You don't become that person by watching others. You become that person by doing what scares you. Every single time you do the hard thing, you shed part of the weaker version of yourself. You build courage like a muscle. And one day the things that used to paralyze you will feel small. But that day won't arrive by accident. It will come because you chose to act now, not later. Fear wants you to delay. Growth demands that you start. Choose growth. Choose discomfort. Choose the hard thing. And prove to yourself, again and again, that you are not a servant to fear. You are stronger than hesitation. You are stronger than doubt. You are stronger than the voice that says maybe tomorrow. Push through. Act now. And don't stop, because every time you do, you become the version of yourself who no longer flinches, no longer hides, and no longer needs permission to rise. Chapter 6. Speak the truth and stop hiding your real self. Most people live behind a mask, afraid that if they speak the truth, they will be rejected, misunderstood, or judged. So they shape their words to fit in, hold back their opinions to keep peace, and hide parts of themselves just to avoid discomfort. Over time, they become strangers to their own identity. They start to forget who they really are beneath the noise, the roles, and the expectations of others. Hiding your real self might keep you comfortable, but it never brings you peace. Peace only comes when you stop performing and start living honestly. Truth isn't always loud, but it's always clear. It doesn't need to be harsh, but it does need to be real. When you begin to speak with honesty, you stop carrying the burden of pretending. That weight is heavier than people realize. Every time you bite your tongue when something matters, every time you agree when you disagree, every time you act like you're fine when you're not, you chip away at your own power, and over time, those small silences become a prison. You stop feeling strong because you've taught yourself that your truth isn't worth expressing. To speak the truth is to stop betraying yourself. It means saying what needs to be said, even when your voice shakes. It means owning your story, even the parts that others might not understand. It means standing in your values, even when it would be easier to stay quiet. This is not about being aggressive or unfiltered. It's about being real. The people who live with the most confidence are not the ones who have the loudest opinions. They're the ones who no longer hide. You don't need to announce every thought, but you do need to stop lying to keep others comfortable. If something matters to you, speak on it. If something doesn't sit right with you, address it. If someone crosses your boundaries, say no. If you feel something deeply, don't water it down. Living in truth is not just about how you speak, it's about how you exist. It's the way you walk through life without pretending to be smaller, quieter, or different to fit someone else's version of you. When you hide your real self, you invite people to love a version of you that doesn't exist. And that's why so many relationships feel shallow or unfulfilling. You can't connect deeply with anyone when you're not showing up fully. Honesty creates depth. It builds trust. It allows the people in your life to truly know you, support you, and respect you. But that kind of connection only comes when you stop playing roles and start being honest. The hardest truths are often the ones we need to tell ourselves. It's easy to speak your truth to others when you've been practicing honesty internally. But if you've been lying to yourself about your priorities, your habits, your fears, or your needs, it becomes almost impossible to be authentic with others. That's why the first step is internal. Look at where you've been holding back. Look at what you've been avoiding. Be willing to say, "This isn't working, I'm not proud of this," or "I want more than this." That level of honesty builds strength from the inside out. Speaking the truth also means accepting that not everyone will like it, not everyone will agree, not everyone will applaud your clarity. That's not your job. Your job is not to be liked, it's be real. And the people who truly respect you will respect your honesty. They will value your boundaries, they will admire your integrity. And the ones who don't, let them go. You don't need to shrink to stay in someone's life. You need to stand tall and let the right people meet you there. There is a difference between being liked and being respected. One is built on comfort, the other is built on truth. When you speak the truth consistently, you begin to earn something that goes deeper than approval. You earn trust. People may not always agree with you, but they'll know where you stand. And more importantly, you'll know where you stand. You won't feel lost in your own life. You'll feel anchored in your identity. Start practicing this in small ways. When someone asks how you're doing, tell the truth. When you disagree, say it respectfully. When you're unsure, admit it. When you're struggling, own it. These moments might feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you've spent years performing. But with each honest word, you begin to rebuild your connection to yourself. You begin to move through life without needing to explain or apologize for who you are. You can't be powerful if you're hiding. Strength requires exposure. It requires vulnerability. It requires risk. But what you gain is far more valuable than what you lose. You gain freedom. You gain clarity. You gain a life that is fully yours, not one shaped by fear or approval, but one shaped by alignment. You stop living for other people's opinions and start living by your own truth. The weak version of you wants comfort over clarity. It wants to be liked more than respected. It wants to avoid conflict even when the silence costs your peace. That version of you will always find ways to justify hiding. It will say, "Now's not the time," or "It's not a big deal." But every time you silence yourself, you confirm that your truth isn't valuable. And over time, that silence becomes self-abandonment. To kill that weak version, you must choose truth every day. You must speak with intention. You must stop making yourself small to avoid tension. You must stop waiting for permission to be who you are. Your life is too short to waste on pretending. Say what matters, stand where you belong, show up fully, even if it feels risky. Because the cost of hiding is far greater than the discomfort of honesty. You do not have to be perfect to be real. Your truth doesn't need to be polished. It needs to be yours. Speak it, own it, live it. Because the moment you stop hiding, you begin to attract the people, opportunities, and experiences that match who you really are. And that kind of life, the one built on truth, is the only life worth building. Chapter 7. Face your flaws and grow stronger through them. Most people run from their flaws because they think flaws make them weak. They spend years covering them, denying them, or blaming someone else for them. But the truth is, you only gain strength when you face them head on. Avoiding your flaws doesn't erase them, it just delays your growth. You can't improve what you're unwilling to admit. And you can't evolve if you're constantly hiding the parts of you that need work. Strength doesn't come from pretending you're perfect. It comes from doing the work to get better, day by day, decision by decision. Facing your flaws requires courage because it means seeing yourself without filters. It means looking at your actions, your habits, your attitude, and your patterns and saying, "This needs to change." That's not weakness. That's the beginning of personal power. Anyone can ignore their flaws. Most people do. But the few who turn inward, who take responsibility instead of making excuses, they are the ones who grow beyond limits. They stop blaming the world for their problems and start changing themselves so the problems lose power. Your flaws are not the end of you. They are the beginning of growth. The moments where you feel exposed, embarrassed, or ashamed are not signs that you should shut down. They are signals that something within you is ready to be refined. We all have blind spots. We all have tendencies that hold us back. Maybe you avoid hard conversations. Maybe you procrastinate. Maybe you chase distractions instead of discipline. Maybe you lack patience. Whatever it is, pretending it's not there just keeps you stuck in cycles that damage your progress. The first step to getting stronger is telling the truth to yourself. You don't need to announce it to the world, but you do need to stop lying in your own mind. Say it plainly. I get lazy when no one is watching. I give up too fast. I care too much about what people think. I don't follow through. These are not insults. They are insights. The moment you call something out, you begin the process of changing it. You stop reacting and start rebuilding. And that is how you create power. Not by hiding what's broken, but by fixing it piece by piece. Growth through flaws means taking ownership without shame. You are not your worst moment. You are not your old habits. You are not your past failures. but you are responsible for what you do next. You can either carry the same weaknesses forward and let them define you, or you can use them as fuel to build the kind of discipline and focus that most people only talk about. That is the real choice. Do you carry your flaws as a burden, or turn them into a reason to rise? It's tempting to compare yourself to others, to look at people who seem more confident or more successful and think they don't struggle. But what you don't see is the work they did behind the scenes. You don't see the hard truths they had to face. You don't see the flaws they wrestled with, the nights they spent rebuilding themselves, the accountability they embraced. Everyone who has grown into something powerful started by facing their weaknesses. Growth is not reserved for the talented. It is earned by those who do the internal work most people avoid. Facing your flaws also means accepting feedback without defensiveness. When someone tells you a hard truth, listen. Even if it stings, even if it hurts, even if your pride pushes back, listen. Ask yourself if there's something there you can work with. Most people get stuck because they protect their ego more than their growth. But ego doesn't build strength. Humility does. The moment you stop defending your flaws and start improving them, your entire life begins to shift. This process isn't quick. It takes time to change patterns that have been with you for years. You will fall back. You will feel uncomfortable. You will want to go back to what's easy. But every time you stay committed, every time you lean in instead of running, every time you choose to grow instead of shut down, you build a different version of yourself. One that can handle pressure. One that doesn't fold when it gets hard. One that lives with clarity and discipline. You don't need to fix everything at once. Choose one flaw and work on it every day. Track your progress. Notice your triggers. Create new responses. If you quit when things get hard, train yourself to finish. If you lie to avoid conflict, practice telling the truth respectfully. If you escape into distraction, replace it with something meaningful. This is the work. It's not always exciting. It's not always visible, but it is powerful, and it will build a foundation that no one can take from you. As you grow, your flaws don't disappear. They become tools. You'll use what you've overcome to lead others, to connect deeply, to stay grounded. Your past laziness teaches you the value of structure. Your past insecurity teaches you how to build confidence. Your past anger teaches you how to control your reactions. These flaws, once faced, become your strength. They no longer control you. They serve you. The reason most people don't grow stronger is because they wait to feel ready. They wait for confidence to arrive. They wait for life to get easier. But you don't need any of that to start. You just need honesty. You need to decide that staying the same is no longer acceptable. You need to make the simple but powerful decision that your flaws will no longer be excuses. They will be fuel. They will be your reasons to show up, to do better, to push harder. When you stop hiding, you stop wasting energy. The energy you used to spend protecting your image is now used to improve your character. You start showing up as the real you. Not the perfect version, not the filtered one, but the honest one. And that version grows. That version wins. That version becomes someone you can respect in silence, without needing applause or approval. True strength is not about being flawless. It's about being real and relentless. Real enough to admit your weaknesses, relentless enough to rise through them. If you want to become someone that others respect, start by respecting yourself enough to face what you've been avoiding. That's where it begins. That's where the shift happens. That's where the weak version of you dies, and the stronger version starts to take over. This isn't a one-time decision, it's a lifestyle. Every day you either feed your flaws or fight them. Choose to fight. Choose to grow. Choose to stand in front of the mirror, not with shame, but with responsibility. You are not here to be perfect. You are here to get better. And every flaw you face is a doorway to the stronger life waiting for you on the other side. Walk through it, own it, grow from it, and never turn away from the truth again. Chapter 8. Control your mind and break negative thought cycles. Your mind is the command center of your life, and if you don't take control of it, it will control you. Every thought you entertain shapes how you feel, what you believe, and the actions you choose to take. Negative thought cycles are silent killers. They don't scream, they whisper, they replay doubts, amplify fears, and distort reality. You start to believe that you are the thoughts running through your mind, instead of realizing that you have the power to observe, challenge, and replace them. If you want to grow, achieve, and build strength in your life, you must begin by gaining control over what happens inside your own head. Thoughts don't just appear randomly, they're habits. And like any habit, they can be broken and rebuilt. But the longer you let negative thoughts repeat without interruption, the stronger they become. The more often you think something like "I'm not good enough," "I always mess things up," or "I can't change," the more your mind starts treating those thoughts like truth. And once they become your truth, they shape your behavior, your attitude, and your results. That's why the most important fight you will ever face is the one between you and your own thinking. You are not weak because you have negative thoughts. Everyone does. You become weak when you surrender to them without resistance. The mind is like a muscle. It gets stronger with training and weaker with neglect. If you allow every worry, insecurity, or judgment to roam freely, your mind becomes chaotic. But if you start filtering your thoughts, questioning your beliefs, and actively redirecting your focus, you begin to develop mental discipline. That discipline is what separates those who stay stuck from those who rise. The first step to breaking negative cycles is awareness. You can't fix what you don't see. Most people live unconsciously, letting thoughts pass through their minds without even noticing. Start paying attention. Notice the thoughts that show up when you wake up. Observe what plays in your head when you're about to do something difficult. Catch the voice that tries to convince you to quit. Don't judge it, just see it clearly. That voice is not you. It's a collection of conditioning, past experiences, fears and doubts. And once you see it for what it is, you can begin to dismantle it. The second step is to separate fact from fiction. Just because you think something doesn't make it true. Your mind will often exaggerate danger, magnify mistakes, and invent outcomes that haven't even happened. Train yourself to challenge these thoughts. When you catch a negative loop starting, ask, is this actually true? Is there evidence? Am I making assumptions? What would I tell someone I care about if they had this thought? This process interrupts the automatic cycle and gives you space to insert truth, logic, and clarity. You must also learn to direct your focus. Your attention is fuel. Whatever you give attention to, you give energy to. If you feed negative thoughts, they grow. If you shift your focus to something empowering, the cycle weakens. When your mind starts spiraling, don't wait for it to stop on its own. Interrupt it with action. Stand up, move your body, speak a truth out loud. Do something productive. The longer you sit in a negative thought, the more real it feels. Action disrupts that pattern and forces your brain to change direction. Another powerful tool is replacing negative thoughts with new ones. You can't just remove bad thoughts and leave your mind empty. You must fill it with better ones. This is not about lying to yourself or pretending things are perfect. It's about choosing thoughts that are honest and useful. "I always fail" can be replaced with "I'm learning to get better." "Nobody cares" can be replaced with "the right people value my growth." "I can't do this" becomes "I'm capable of figuring this out." These replacements don't deny difficulty, they create mental resilience. Your environment also plays a huge role in how your mind operates. If you constantly consume negativity through people, media, conversations, you're feeding the very cycles you're trying to break. Protect your mental space. Choose what you watch. Be selective with who you spend time with. Seek words that align with strength, not doubt. Create routines that reinforce clarity, discipline, and peace. When your environment supports your mindset, change becomes sustainable. Another overlooked part of mental control is how you speak to yourself in private moments. When no one is around and you mess up, what do you say? When you're facing pressure, how do you coach yourself? The strongest people speak to themselves with authority and direction. They don't let emotions dictate their inner dialogue. They lead their minds with purpose. This is hard, but I'm capable. I feel nervous, but I'll move anyway. I've fallen, but I'll rise stronger. This internal voice becomes the weapon you use to cut through self-doubt. Meditation and mindfulness are not just trends, they are training. Just like you train your body to get stronger, you train your mind to stay present and focused. Take time every day, even for 5 minutes, to sit still, breathe, and observe your thoughts without judgment. This builds mental space. It teaches you that you are not your thoughts, you are the one watching them. And in that gap between thought and action, you find the freedom to choose differently. Controlling your mind is not about never feeling doubt or fear. It's about not letting those emotions control you. You will have low days. You will face setbacks. But a trained mind doesn't spiral when things go wrong. It recalibrates. It adapts. It finds solutions. It stays grounded. The untrained mind panics, freezes, and overreacts. But the trained mind keeps moving forward with clarity, even when it feels pressure. Negative thought cycles often build when you avoid what needs to be faced. When you don't take action on your goals, when you let things slide, when you keep putting off what matters, your mind fills that space with anxiety and guilt. That mental weight grows heavier the longer you avoid responsibility. The solution isn't more thinking, it's more doing. Take action on what you've been avoiding. The more control you take in the real world, the more control you gain over your thoughts. Build routines that give you structure. Start your day with a clear mind. Write down what you need to do. Review your thoughts. Redirect the ones that lead nowhere. Choose clarity over chaos. Make decisions that align with strength, not fear. At the end of the day, reflect. Ask yourself what thoughts served you, and which ones didn't. Get used to observing your mind like a leader, managing a team. Don't allow sabotage to become standard. You are in charge. Act like it. You will never live a powerful life with an undisciplined mind. You must decide who is in control, your doubts or your direction. Your mind will try to keep you safe, but growth doesn't live in safety. Growth lives in mental control, daily discipline, and relentless focus. When you learn to break the cycle and replace weakness with strength, you don't just think better, you live better, you move with confidence, you handle pressure with poise, and you become the person who leads, instead of being led by fear. That begins the moment you choose to take your mind back. Chapter 9. Set clear goals and commit with relentless focus. Most people drift through life without a clear direction, hoping something will change without ever deciding what they truly want. They wake up with no target, go to sleep without a sense of progress, and wonder why they feel stuck year after year. The truth is, without a clear goal, you have no anchor, you have no standard, you have no filter for what matters and what doesn't. You end up reacting to life instead of building it. Clarity is the starting point of all personal power, and until you decide where you're going, no amount of motivation will carry you forward. You don't need 10 goals, you need one that matters deeply and demands your full commitment. A vague goal like be successful or get in shape is not a real goal, it's a wish. Real goals are exact, defined, and non-negotiable. A real goal sounds like lose 10 pounds by this date, or save this amount of money by this month, or launch this project by this deadline. You must know exactly what winning looks like, or you will never reach it. When your goal is blurry, your actions will be scattered. But when your goal is sharp, your path becomes obvious. Setting a clear goal is an act of ownership. It's you declaring that your life will no longer be led by chance, but by design. It means deciding that you will no longer just respond to circumstances, you will create them. The moment you set a goal with precision, your brain starts working differently. It begins filtering out distractions. It starts scanning for resources. It becomes alert. That shift is real, but it only happens when you are specific, honest, and committed to the result. Once your goal is set, the next step is full commitment. Not interest, not excitement. Commitment. That means you don't stop when it gets hard. You don't shift the goal when it takes longer than you expected. You don't look for shortcuts the moment discomfort shows up. You lock in. You decide that no matter what happens, you are staying the course. That level of commitment is rare, because it's not emotional, it's rooted in discipline. Relentless focus means you cut the noise. You don't chase every opportunity. You don't jump from one plan to another. You eliminate what's not aligned. You protect your time. You manage your energy. You stop wasting hours on things that do not move your goal forward. Focus is a skill, and you build it by saying no to anything that steals it. Most people fail not because they lack ambition, but because they lose focus every time they're distracted by something easier. You also need to break your goal down into daily action. A clear goal without daily execution is just fantasy. You need to know what must be done every single day to move forward. This creates structure. It removes confusion. It gives you a reason to act even when motivation fades. Waiting to feel inspired is weak. Acting on a clear plan every day builds mental toughness. Small, consistent actions beat occasional big efforts every time. Track your progress. Measure your steps. Evaluate your results. This is how you stay honest with yourself. If you don't track it, you can't improve it. If you don't measure it, you'll convince yourself you're doing enough when you're not. Make it a habit to review your goals every morning and ask, what must I do today to stay on track? Then in the evening, ask, did I do it? This is accountability, and it builds confidence. Every day you follow through, you earn trust in yourself. Remove emotion from the process. Feelings come and go. Commitment stays. You will have days when you feel tired, doubtful, frustrated, or uninspired. Those days do not matter. What matters is how you act in spite of them. Relentless focus means you move anyway. You follow the plan. You show up regardless of how you feel. This mindset builds momentum, and momentum builds belief. Don't share your goals with people who don't have the discipline to chase their own. Protect your vision. Not everyone will understand it. Not everyone needs to. Your focus is not a community project. It's personal. It's sacred. You are building something for yourself, and you don't owe the world an explanation. Let your results speak for you. Let your progress show what you're about. Set your goal, commit fully, and make it part of your identity. You're not someone who's trying. You're someone who does. You're not interested. You're invested. You're not hoping. You're building. This shift in identity is what turns effort into excellence. The person who follows through no matter what becomes the person who wins. Not because of luck or timing, but because of consistency and clarity. Be ready for boredom. The path to any meaningful goal includes repetition. You will do the same things over and over again. That's not a flaw in the process. That is the process. Most people quit because they confuse consistency with failure. But winners know that showing up, doing the work, and improving slowly is the price of progress. Don't chase variety, chase mastery. Discipline will take you further than emotion ever will. You must also eliminate weak goals. If you're setting goals just to feel busy or productive, you're wasting your energy. Set goals that scare you a little and excite you a lot. Set goals that demand growth. Set goals that require change. The bigger your vision, the more precise your actions need to be. Clarity is how you reduce anxiety. Knowing exactly what you want makes every day simpler, every decision easier, and every distraction more obvious. Do not lower the goal when you fall short. Raise your effort, refine your strategy, adjust your systems, but keep the target. There is power in holding your line. Growth happens when you push past your current limits, not when you retreat into comfort. Every time you recommit after a setback, you multiply your inner strength. That's the habit that builds high-performing individuals, not perfection, relentless recommitment. You don't have to be talented to be focused. You don't need to be born disciplined to become consistent. You need a goal worth chasing, and the will to chase it, until it's yours. That's the foundation of transformation. That's the mindset that builds success in every area of life. If your life lacks direction, start by setting a clear goal today. Write it down. Define it. Own it. Then ask yourself what the next logical action is. And take it. Not next week. Now. The weak version of you waits. The stronger version takes initiative and keeps moving even when things aren't perfect. That version is built in the small decisions, repeated over time, with unwavering clarity and focus. Chapter 10. Cut toxic people and protect your mental energy. You can have all the right goals, all the right habits, and all the ambition in the world, but if your environment is filled with people who drain your energy, challenge your peace, and sabotage your mindset, you will keep hitting the same walls. Toxic people don't always look toxic on the surface. Sometimes they come disguised as friends, family, or even supportive voices. But pay attention to how you feel after spending time with them. If you walk away feeling smaller, confused, unmotivated, or emotionally heavy, you are likely dealing with someone who does not support your growth. The quality of the people you surround yourself with directly shapes the quality of your life. You cannot afford to ignore this. Toxic people are not just those who yell or create obvious conflict. They can be subtle. They can be passive-aggressive, constantly negative, manipulative, overly critical, or emotionally inconsistent. They can use guilt to control you, envy to compete with you, or silence to punish you. And over time, their presence eats away at your focus, your confidence, and your energy to improve. You don't need that around you when you are trying to rebuild yourself into someone stronger. You are not obligated to tolerate what destroys your peace. Just because someone has been around for years doesn't mean they deserve access to your time today. If someone consistently disrespects your boundaries, makes you doubt your worth, or interrupts your clarity, then it is your responsibility to take action. You can't control who others are, but you can absolutely control who you allow into your inner space. This is not cruelty, it is self-respect. Protecting your mental energy starts with recognizing that you are responsible for your emotional environment. Every conversation, every interaction, every connection leaves a mark. You have to be intentional about who gets to influence you. Spend time with people who speak with clarity, live with discipline, and value honesty. People who uplift you not by fake compliments but by challenging you to grow. That's the kind of energy that fuels change. Anything less than that is a distraction, no matter how familiar or comfortable it may feel. Cutting toxic people doesn't mean you create drama or confrontation. It means you slowly and silently shift your focus away from them. You stop over-explaining. You stop responding to manipulation. You stop giving your time to people who don't respect it. You reduce contact. You let their messages go unanswered. You pull your energy back without making noise. That's real strength. Quiet, deliberate boundaries that don't require permission or applause. Some people will not like your growth. Not because you've done anything wrong, but because your improvement makes them uncomfortable. They liked the version of you that stayed quiet, unsure, dependent, or stuck. The moment you begin to build discipline and confidence, they feel threatened. This has nothing to do with you, and everything to do with their inability to grow themselves. You have to be okay with losing people who refuse to rise with you. You do not need to explain your boundaries to people who violate them. Your mental energy is sacred. It is limited. Every ounce you give to the wrong person is an ounce you lose from building the life you want. Learn to say no with strength. Not no with guilt or apology, just no with peace. The people who truly care about your well-being will never make you feel bad for protecting your mental space. The ones who push back are often the ones who benefited from your lack of boundaries. As you grow, your standards must grow too. You cannot hold on to people from your past if they have no place in your future. Growth means elevation, and elevation often requires separation. This doesn't mean you become cold or arrogant. It means you become selective. You don't tolerate gossip, laziness, or drama. You don't pretend to laugh at jokes that insult your principles. You don't engage in conversations that lead nowhere. You stay focused, grounded, and clear on where you're going. Protecting your mental energy also means managing how you allow others to speak into your life. Not every opinion deserves attention. Not every comment deserves a response. Learn to filter voices. Who are they? Do they live with discipline? Do they lead by example? Do they reflect the mindset you're working to build? If the answer is no, then take their words lightly. Let them pass through like noise in the background. Only absorb what strengthens your clarity and focus. Sometimes the most toxic person is the one you keep making excuses for. You tell yourself, they're just going through something, or they don't mean it, or they've been in my life so long. But the truth is, none of that justifies the emotional damage they cause. Growth requires honesty. Be honest about how someone affects you. If they consistently leave you feeling drained, unsure, or unstable, that is not love, support, or loyalty. That is a sign to create distance. You also have to look inward. Are you tolerating toxic behavior because you are afraid of being alone? Because you are afraid of confrontation? Because you're addicted to approval? These are the deeper reasons that keep people stuck in draining relationships. The solution is not to blame others. It is to build the strength within yourself to walk away. That kind of strength only comes from knowing your worth and committing to peace over people-pleasing. As you protect your energy, you'll notice your mind getting quieter. Your decisions will feel clearer. Your days will feel lighter. You'll have more energy to build, more clarity to act, and more space to grow. Toxic people fog your vision. Once you remove them, you begin to see what's possible again. That's when real transformation begins, not when you add more to your life, but when you remove what never belonged there in the first place. Surround yourself with people who inspire discipline, who respect your boundaries, and who live with intention. People who don't drain you with drama but challenge you with action. Choose to be around those who sharpen your thinking, fuel your ambition, and remind you of your strength when you forget. That is the environment where real growth happens, not in chaos, but in calm. Not in noise, but in focus. You owe it to yourself to build a life that isn't constantly recovering from the damage of other people. You owe it to yourself to be around people who push you higher, not hold you back. And most of all, you owe it to yourself to live with peace of mind, not mental exhaustion. The people you allow in your life are either adding value or taking it away. Be ruthless about that line, because your mental energy is not endless, and your goals cannot afford to be drained by someone else's dysfunction. Start making those decisions today. Audit your environment. Pay attention to who lifts you and who drains you. Protect your mind the same way you would protect your body from harm. Guard it with intention. Filter access. And remember, the stronger version of you does not apologize for choosing peace over pressure, clarity over chaos, and growth over guilt. That version of you lives on the other side of letting go. Chapter 11. Train your body and master physical self-respect. Your body is the foundation of your strength and resilience. It's not just a machine that carries you through the day. It's the home of your energy, your confidence, and your willpower. When you train your body, you are not just improving physical health. You are creating a deeper level of self-respect. This respect comes from knowing that you are doing the hard work necessary to care for yourself, to build endurance, and to stand strong in every situation life throws your way. Physical training is a daily commitment, and it teaches lessons that go far beyond muscles and stamina. The way you treat your body reflects how you value yourself. Neglect, laziness, or abuse of your physical self sends a message deep into your subconscious that you don't deserve care or discipline. This slowly erodes your confidence and your ability to push through challenges. When you make a decision to train your body, you make a statement that your health matters, that your future matters, that your life deserves effort and respect. This shift in mindset is critical because it connects physical discipline with mental and emotional strength. Training your body doesn't require extreme workouts or complicated routines. It requires consistency and intention. Simple actions repeated daily create the foundation for strength. Walking, stretching, bodyweight exercises, or even intentional breathing are enough to begin the process. The key is to start where you are and commit to improvement, no matter how small. Progress builds momentum. Momentum builds belief. Belief builds the kind of self-respect that can never be taken away. Physical training is also a form of self-control. When you choose to exercise instead of scroll social media, eat nourishing food instead of junk, sleep on time instead of staying up late, you strengthen your ability to make decisions that serve your growth. Every choice you make to prioritize your body is a small victory over instant gratification. These victories add up and ripple into other areas of your life, creating a powerful cycle of discipline and achievement. Your body responds to what you ask of it. If you treat it like a temple, it grows stronger. If you treat it like an afterthought, it weakens. This isn't about vanity or appearance, it's about performance and respect. A trained body supports a trained mind. When you feel strong physically, you think clearer, react faster, and handle stress better. You carry yourself differently, upright, confident, ready. This physical presence changes how the world sees you, and more importantly, how you see yourself. Pain and discomfort are part of physical training, but they are not signs of failure. They are evidence of growth. When muscles burn, lungs tighten, or energy wanes, those are moments when you prove to yourself that you can handle more than you thought. Pushing through discomfort builds resilience that transfers directly into mental toughness. The habit of enduring physical challenge without quitting is one of the most reliable ways to build inner strength. Recovery is equally important. Training your body is not about constant punishment, it's about balance. Respecting rest, hydration, nutrition, and sleep allows your body to rebuild stronger. Ignoring recovery leads to burnout, injury, and loss of motivation. Mastering physical self-respect means listening to your body's signals and responding with care, not neglect or indulgence. This balance creates sustainability, which is essential for lifelong improvement. You must also understand that training your body is a journey without shortcuts. There are no quick fixes or magic pills. It requires patience, persistence, and an honest look at your current habits. If you've been inactive for years, starting small is not a weakness, it's wisdom. Setting unrealistic goals only sets you up for failure and disappointment. Respect your starting point, celebrate small wins, and focus on incremental progress. The cumulative effect of daily action is unstoppable. Physical training sharpens your discipline because it demands routine. When you make exercise a non-negotiable part of your day, you build a structure that supports all your other goals. This routine becomes a backbone for your willpower. It trains you to show up when you don't feel like it. It teaches you that commitment is more important than motivation. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline holds the line. Mastering physical self-respect also requires honesty about your habits and choices. This means facing difficult questions. Are you eating foods that nourish you or just satisfy cravings? Are you moving enough or sitting too much? Are you prioritizing sleep or sacrificing it for convenience? The answers to these questions reveal how much respect you truly have for your body. Change begins with that brutal honesty. Without it, no amount of training will create lasting transformation. Your body is your first responsibility. If you neglect it, every other part of your life suffers. Energy drains, focus falters, confidence fades. But when you honor your body through consistent training, you unlock levels of potential that go beyond physical strength. You gain clarity, emotional balance, and the stamina to pursue your deepest ambitions. The strongest minds live in the strongest bodies because they know that the two are inseparable. Finally, training your body is an act of love. It's an investment in yourself that pays dividends every day. It is a practice that says, I am worth the effort. When you choose to care for your body, you build a foundation of self-respect that impacts every decision, every relationship, and every goal. This kind of respect cannot be faked or borrowed. It must be earned through daily action and relentless commitment. This is the path to mastery over yourself and the life you want to build. Chapter 12. Reject short-term pleasure and choose long-term growth. The world is filled with endless distractions promising immediate satisfaction. From fast food to social media, from mindless entertainment to impulsive purchases, short-term pleasure is everywhere, inviting you to abandon your focus and forget your goals. It's easy to give in because these moments feel good. They provide instant comfort, relief, or happiness. But every time you choose fleeting pleasure over deliberate growth, you chip away at your future potential. The cost is invisible in the moment, but undeniable over time. Choosing long-term growth means making decisions today that may feel difficult or uncomfortable, but will build a stronger, wiser, and more capable version of yourself tomorrow. This requires a mindset shift from seeking instant gratification to embracing delayed rewards. It means understanding that real progress demands patience and sacrifice. Pleasure fades quickly, but the results of committed effort last a lifetime. Rejecting short-term pleasure is not about denying joy. It's about prioritizing meaningful fulfillment over temporary escapes. Your brain is wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. This biological programming served our ancestors well in survival, but it often works against modern ambitions. The challenge is not that pleasure exists, but that it is designed to hijack your attention and weaken your discipline. Recognizing this is the first step toward freedom. You must become aware of the ways short-term pleasure tempts you and consciously choose whether to engage or resist. This awareness creates a gap between impulse and action, where true choice lives. Growth requires discomfort because it pushes you beyond your current limits. When you resist the urge for instant satisfaction, you strengthen your willpower. Each time you say no to an easy escape, you build muscle in your self-control. This muscle grows stronger with repetition, making future challenges easier to face. Discipline is not about perfection, it's about consistency in choosing what serves your highest vision over what satisfies momentary desires. Many people confuse pleasure with happiness, but they are not the same. Pleasure is temporary and external. Happiness is deeper and internal. Real happiness comes from knowing you are progressing, learning and becoming the person you want to be. It comes from the satisfaction of hard work, paying off, and the confidence that you can handle life's challenges. Pursuing long-term growth cultivates this type of happiness because it aligns your actions with your purpose. Rejecting short-term pleasure often means setting clear boundaries with yourself. This can involve limiting social media use, avoiding junk food, sticking to a budget, or dedicating time to practice skills instead of watching TV. Boundaries protect your energy and focus. They create a framework within which growth becomes possible. Without boundaries, you drift into habits that prioritize comfort over challenge, and progress stalls. It's important to replace short-term pleasures with meaningful alternatives. When the urge to procrastinate or indulge hits, have a plan to redirect your energy. This could be a quick walk, journaling your goals, practicing mindfulness, or tackling a small task related to your bigger objective. The goal is not to suppress desire, but to channel it towards something constructive. Over time, these new habits reshape your brain's reward system and make long-term growth more appealing than fleeting pleasure. You must also accept that discomfort is a sign of growth, not failure. When you face resistance, boredom, or frustration, these emotions are indicators that you are moving beyond your comfort zone. Growth is not meant to feel easy. The more you embrace discomfort, the more you break free from the chains of short-term thinking. This mindset separates those who settle from those who thrive. Delayed gratification builds confidence because it proves that you can trust yourself. When you consistently choose growth over pleasure, you strengthen your belief in your ability to make wise decisions. This self-trust becomes a foundation for all other success. It reduces anxiety, improves focus, and creates a sense of control over your life. Without it, you remain vulnerable to impulses and external pressure. Social environments often reinforce short-term thinking through peer pressure, cultural norms, or constant connectivity. Be intentional about who you spend time with and what influences you expose yourself to. Surround yourself with people who value growth and discipline. Create an environment that supports your long-term goals rather than undermines them. This includes digital detoxes, focused work sessions, and clear intentions for rest and leisure. Long-term growth also requires clear vision. When your purpose is strong and vivid, it becomes easier to say no to distractions. Keep your goals front and center in your mind. Remind yourself daily why you are making sacrifices. Connect with the future version of yourself who is reaping the rewards of today's choices. This connection fuels motivation and reinforces your commitment. Self-compassion is vital on this path. Rejecting short-term pleasure doesn't mean beating yourself up when you slip. Everyone falters. The difference is how you respond. When you fall into old patterns, acknowledge it without judgment and recommit immediately. Growth is a process of continuous correction, not perfection. Be patient with yourself and celebrate progress, no matter how small. The cumulative effect of rejecting short-term pleasure is profound. Small daily choices build momentum that eventually leads to breakthroughs. Habits compound, focus sharpens, strength increases. This process transforms not only your results, but your identity. You become someone who chooses wisely, acts deliberately, and lives with intentions. That person is unstoppable. In the end, rejecting short-term pleasure is a declaration of your priorities. It says that you value growth, integrity, and resilience more than fleeting comfort. It means you respect yourself enough to endure temporary discomfort for lasting success. This choice is the foundation of a powerful life. It turns dreams into realities and weakness into strength. Every moment you choose growth over pleasure, you kill the weak version of yourself and build the strongest version yet to come. Chapter 13. Learn every day and feed your hungry mind. Your mind is like a hungry engine. It needs constant fuel to run at its best. Feeding your mind daily is not a luxury, it is a necessity for growth, resilience, and success. Without fresh knowledge, new ideas, and diverse perspectives, your thinking becomes stale, your creativity dulls, and your ability to solve problems weakens. Learning every day is a commitment to sharpening your mind, just as you would sharpen a tool. It keeps you relevant, adaptable, and ready to face life's challenges with confidence. Learning is not limited to formal education or long study sessions. It happens in moments, through books, conversations, observations, mistakes, and reflection. The key is to be intentional about seeking knowledge and experiences that stretch your thinking. Curiosity is the fuel for learning. When you approach each day with a mindset of curiosity, you open doors to unexpected growth. You ask better questions and listen more deeply. This habit transforms ordinary experiences into powerful lessons. The process of learning requires humility. It means accepting that no matter how much you know, there is always more to discover. This openness prevents stagnation. It pushes you to explore new fields, try new skills, and challenge existing beliefs. Growth happens when you step outside your comfort zone and admit that your current understanding is incomplete. This willingness to learn is the hallmark of every successful person. Consistent learning builds mental strength. It trains your brain to focus, analyze, and retain information. Over time, this sharpens your decision-making and problem-solving abilities. When faced with uncertainty or complexity, a well-fed mind navigates challenges more effectively. It sees opportunities where others see obstacles. It responds with confidence instead of hesitation. Daily learning also enhances your creativity. Exposure to diverse ideas stimulates new connections and insight. Reading about different topics, listening to varied opinions, or engaging in thoughtful discussions broadens your perspective. This diversity enriches your thinking and equips you with innovative approaches. Creativity thrives in a mind that is constantly absorbing and processing new information. You don't need to consume mountains of content to learn effectively. Focus on quality over quantity. Choose materials that challenge you, inspire you, and align with your goals. This focused intake creates depth rather than surface-level knowledge. Reflect on what you learn and apply it to your life. Learning without action is wasted energy. Integration turns information into wisdom. Learning every day requires creating space and routines for it. Set aside dedicated time to read, listen, or practice new skills. Protect this time fiercely. Just as you would prioritize exercise or work, prioritize feeding your mind. Consistency turns learning into a habit. Habits create momentum. Momentum fuels progress. This chain reaction transforms your intellectual capacity and personal growth. Technology offers unprecedented access to knowledge, but it also brings distractions. Be selective about how and what you consume. Avoid mindless scrolling or superficial content that wastes time. Use digital tools deliberately. Subscribe to educational podcasts. Follow thought leaders or take online courses relevant to your growth. Guard your attention like a precious resource. Engage actively with what you learn. Take notes, ask questions, discuss ideas with others, or teach what you've absorbed. Active learning deepens understanding and retention. It moves knowledge from passive intake to dynamic use. Sharing knowledge also strengthens relationships and builds influence, further amplifying your growth. Failures and mistakes are among the richest sources of learning. Instead of avoiding errors, analyze them. Understand what went wrong and why. Extract lessons and adjust your approach. This mindset turns setbacks into stepping stones. It removes fear of failure and replaces it with a hunger for improvement. Stay patient with the learning process. Growth is rarely immediate. Mastery takes time, practice and repeated effort. Celebrate small wins and progress along the way. The cumulative effect of daily learning creates exponential growth that compounds over months and years. Feeding your mind daily expands not just your intellect, but your character. It cultivates discipline, patience, and resilience. It builds confidence grounded in competence. This growth radiates into all areas of life: relationships, career, health, and personal fulfillment. In the end, choosing to learn every day is a commitment to yourself. It is a promise that you will never settle for ignorance or complacency. You become someone who adapts, evolves, and leads. Your mind becomes a powerful asset that propels you beyond limits. Feeding your hungry mind daily kills the weak version of yourself and awakens the strong, wise, and capable individual you are meant to be. Chapter 14. Lead yourself before trying to lead anyone else. True leadership starts within. Before you can inspire others, direct teams, or influence outcomes, you must first master the art of leading yourself. This means understanding your values, managing your emotions, and taking responsibility for your actions without blaming others or circumstances. Leading yourself is not about controlling every detail, but about creating a solid foundation of self-awareness and discipline that others can respect and follow. When you lead yourself well, leadership of others becomes a natural extension of your character. Self-leadership requires honesty. It demands you face your weaknesses and strengths without denial or exaggeration. You must recognize where you fall short and where you excel. This clarity allows you to make informed decisions and avoid the trap of overconfidence or insecurity. Leading yourself means setting realistic expectations and holding yourself accountable even when no one else is watching. It means doing the work that others might avoid and being consistent in your habits and principles. Managing your emotions is a critical part of self-leadership. Emotions can cloud judgment and lead to impulsive decisions. When you learn to pause and assess your feelings before reacting, you gain control over your responses. This emotional regulation demonstrates maturity and steadiness, qualities essential for effective leadership. It also models for others how to remain calm under pressure and make decisions rooted in logic rather than fleeting feelings. Taking responsibility is a powerful act of leadership. It means owning your successes and failures equally. Avoiding blame creates trust in yourself and with others. When you admit mistakes and learn from them, you show strength, not weakness. This accountability builds credibility and inspires others to do the same. Leading yourself with responsibility also means proactively seeking solutions instead of waiting for external direction. Discipline forms the backbone of leading yourself. It involves creating routines, sticking to commitments, and prioritizing tasks that align with your goals. Discipline is the bridge between intention and action. Without it, motivation wanes and progress stalls. A disciplined leader manages time wisely, resists distractions, and keeps focus on long-term objectives. This discipline is contagious. When others see your consistency, they are more likely to follow your example. Self-leadership also means embracing continuous growth. A true leader never assumes they have all the answers. Instead, they pursue learning and development relentlessly. They seek feedback, reflect deeply, and adapt as needed. This openness to growth creates humility and resilience, allowing leaders to evolve with changing circumstances. By leading yourself in this way, you prepare to guide others through uncertainty with confidence. Understanding your purpose is essential for leading yourself. Purpose gives direction and meaning to your actions. It serves as an internal compass when external conditions are unclear or challenging. Leaders with a strong sense of purpose inspire trust and commitment from others. This clarity enables decisive action and unwavering focus, even when faced with setbacks or distractions. Leading yourself requires setting boundaries. It means protecting your time, energy, and values from erosion by external pressures or internal doubts. Boundaries create space for growth and maintain balance in your life. When you enforce limits on what you accept and tolerate, you teach others to respect you and the mission you pursue. Boundaries also prevent burnout and keep your leadership sustainable. Building self-trust is another vital aspect of leading yourself. Trust grows from consistent action aligned with your values. When you follow through on promises to yourself, you reinforce your confidence and integrity. This trust becomes a foundation for decisive leadership. Without it, hesitation and self-doubt undermine your ability to lead effectively. Self-trust enables bold choices and steady progress. Leading yourself before others also means mastering communication with yourself. The internal dialogue you maintain shapes your mindset and actions. Positive, clear, and constructive self-talk builds confidence and resilience. Negative or chaotic thoughts lead to confusion and indecision. By learning to guide your own thoughts intentionally, you develop mental clarity that influences every decision you make. Self-leadership involves embracing solitude. Spending time alone with your thoughts fosters reflection and insight. Solitude creates opportunities to evaluate your direction, assess your progress, and recharge mentally. Leaders who avoid distraction and seek clarity in solitude gain deeper self-understanding. This practice enhances emotional regulation and strategic thinking, key components of strong leadership. Leading yourself also requires humility. It means recognizing that leadership is a privilege, not a right. Humility keeps you grounded and open to learning from others, regardless of status or position. It allows you to admit when you are wrong and to celebrate the success of those you lead. Humble self-leadership invites collaboration and builds a culture of respect. The ability to make difficult decisions is another hallmark of self-leadership. Leaders face choices that involve risk, uncertainty, and sacrifice. Leading yourself means developing the courage to decide even when outcomes are unclear. It means weighing options carefully, trusting your judgment, and accepting the consequences. Decisiveness builds momentum and prevents stagnation. Leading yourself involves setting clear goals and priorities. Without defined objectives, your efforts scatter and leadership falters. Goals act as milestones guiding your actions. Priorities ensure that your energy goes to the most impactful activities. Self-leadership means regularly reviewing and adjusting these goals to remain aligned with your evolving vision. Accountability partners can support self-leadership, but cannot replace it. Ultimately, you must own your journey and the choices that shape it. Relying solely on external validation weakens leadership and fosters dependence. True leaders cultivate internal motivation and discipline that persist beyond external influences. Leading yourself demands resilience. Setbacks and failures are inevitable, but how you respond defines your leadership. Resilient self-leaders view obstacles as opportunities to learn and grow. They maintain optimism, without losing realism. This mental toughness encourages perseverance and inspires others to keep moving forward, despite challenges. Finally, leading yourself is the foundation of authentic leadership. People follow those who lead with integrity, clarity, and strength, rooted in self-mastery. When you command your own life, you gain the credibility and influence to lead others effectively. This journey begins with a single commitment, to take full ownership of who you are and the direction you choose. Only then can you truly lead. Chapter 15. Create structure and build a powerful daily system. Building a structured daily system transforms chaos into clarity and confusion into consistent progress. Without a framework, days slip away unnoticed, energy dissipates, and important goals get lost in distractions. Creating structure is about designing your environment and habits so that every moment serves a purpose. A powerful daily system takes the guesswork out of what to do next, aligns your actions with your priorities, and makes momentum inevitable. Start by recognizing that structure is freedom, not restriction. When you create clear routines, you eliminate decision fatigue and reduce stress. Your mind no longer wastes energy deciding what to do. It simply follows the path you have laid out. This mental clarity opens space for creativity and deep focus, because you're not overwhelmed by randomness. The discipline of a system brings peace, productivity, and power. The foundation of a daily system is intentional planning. Each day should begin with a clear understanding of what must be accomplished. This doesn't mean overwhelming yourself with an impossible to-do list, but prioritizing a few critical tasks that drive your goals forward. When you decide in advance what deserves your attention, you avoid being hijacked by urgent but unimportant distractions. Clarity on priorities sharpens your focus and elevates your results. Creating structure also means defining routines that anchor your day. Rituals like waking at a consistent time, exercise, focused work blocks, breaks, and reflection provide rhythm and balance. These routines become automatic over time, freeing your mind to focus on execution instead of choice. Consistency in small daily habits compounds into massive progress. The power of routines lies in their ability to turn effort into effortless flow. Time management is a key component of a daily system. Allocate specific time slots for your tasks and guard them fiercely. Scheduling is not about rigidity, but about respect for your own time and goals. Treat your appointments with yourself as non-negotiable. Avoid multitasking. Focus on one task at a time to maximize efficiency and quality. Protect your energy by including periods for rest and recovery, ensuring you sustain high performance throughout the day. A powerful system also requires monitoring and adjustment. At the end of each day or week, review what worked and what didn't. Are you hitting your key tasks? Where are you losing time or focus? Use this feedback to refine your schedule and habits. Continuous improvement keeps your system aligned with your evolving goals and challenges. Flexibility within structure prevents stagnation and burnout. Eliminating distractions is crucial for maintaining structure. Identify the common interruptions that pull you away from your priorities: social media, unnecessary meetings, cluttered environments, and create barriers against them. Turn off notifications, designate a quiet workspace, and communicate your focused hours to those around you. Designing your environment to support concentration reduces friction and preserves your willpower. Automation and delegation amplify the power of your daily system. Find repetitive tasks that can be streamlined or outsourced, freeing your time for high-impact activities. Use technology wisely to schedule reminders, track progress, or organize information. Delegating tasks when possible not only lightens your load, but also develops trust and teamwork in your environment. A strong system includes space for learning and growth. Allocate time daily for activities that feed your mind and skills, such as reading, journaling, or practice. These moments build your capacity and creativity. When learning is part of your routine, growth becomes integrated into your lifestyle instead of an afterthought. Accountability mechanisms strengthen your system. Share your goals and daily commitments with a trusted partner or group. Regular check-ins increase motivation and discipline because you are no longer working in isolation. Knowing others are aware of your progress creates a positive pressure that drives consistency and effort. Remember that building structure requires patience. Systems do not create immediate perfection. Early attempts may feel forced or awkward. Habits take time to form and stabilize. Stay committed through initial resistance and discomfort. The rewards of your system compound as it becomes a natural part of your day, supporting sustained success. Balance is key within your system. Avoid overloading your schedule to the point of exhaustion. Include time for rest, relationships, and recreation. These elements recharge your energy and keep your motivation alive. A balanced system nurtures not just productivity but well-being, ensuring longevity in your pursuit of growth. A well-crafted daily system sharpens your focus, improves your discipline, and maximizes your energy. It creates a container within which your best work and personal growth can flourish. Structure transforms intention into action and chaos into order. It is the engine that drives consistent progress, helping you kill the weak version of yourself and build a life of power, purpose, and fulfillment. Chapter 16. Do hard work even when no one is watching. True character reveals itself in the moments when no one is watching. The real test of commitment and strength lies in doing the hard work quietly, away from the spotlight or external validation. It is easy to show effort when praised, but true discipline requires pushing through when no applause or recognition is coming your way. This consistency shapes who you become. It builds a foundation of integrity that cannot be shaken by circumstances or opinions. Hard work done in solitude forms the backbone of all great achievements. The world often sees only the results, but behind every success story lies countless hours of unseen effort. This unseen work is where growth happens. It is where skills are honed, resilience is forged, and habits are built. Embracing this reality means shifting your focus from external approval to internal standards. When your motivation comes from within, your actions become sustainable and authentic. Avoiding shortcuts and excuses even when no one watches is an act of self-respect. It shows that you value your goals and your potential more than momentary comfort. This mindset trains you to rise above laziness and distraction. It builds a mental toughness that carries you through obstacles. The work you do in private becomes a silent promise to yourself that you will not settle for less. Accountability is strongest when it starts with you. Relying solely on others to push or recognize you weakens your independence. Leading yourself means cultivating the habit of doing what needs to be done regardless of external pressures. This self-leadership creates a reliable internal drive that fuels long-term success. The discipline of working hard without witnesses develops confidence and self-trust. The hardest work often feels unrewarding in the moment. Repetitive tasks, practice, or preparation may seem boring or frustrating. But this is the price of mastery. Understanding that effort without immediate reward is a necessary step helps maintain focus. Each small action builds toward a larger purpose. The patience to endure this process separates those who achieve lasting results from those who give up early. Consistency in unseen work compounds over time. Small efforts repeated daily create unstoppable momentum. This momentum builds skills, expands capabilities, and opens new opportunities. It is the difference between occasional bursts of effort and lifelong excellence. Committing to hard work away from the spotlight turns potential into reality and dreams into achievements. Self-discipline in private moments also builds mental resilience. When you choose to push through boredom, fatigue or doubt without external motivation, you train your mind to withstand adversity. This mental strength translates into other areas of life. You become less reactive to setbacks and more proactive in pursuing goals. The habit of showing up when it's difficult strengthens your overall character. Working hard without watching eyes teaches humility. It reminds you that success is rarely flashy or instant. It is grounded in daily effort and quiet persistence. This humility fosters patience and a long-term perspective. It helps avoid entitlement or arrogance and keeps you focused on continuous improvement. Effort done in solitude cultivates focus. When distractions and external opinions fade, you can give your full attention to the task. This deep work produces higher quality outcomes and faster progress. Protecting this focus requires discipline to eliminate interruptions and create a supportive environment. The ability to concentrate on hard work without recognition is a rare and valuable skill. Doing hard work unseen builds integrity. It aligns your actions with your values and commitments. When you act with integrity, you build trust in yourself and with others. This trust forms the foundation for leadership and influence. People respect those who demonstrate consistency and honor their promises, regardless of visibility. The habit of working hard in private is a form of self-love. It reflects belief in your own potential and worthiness. This belief motivates you to invest time and energy in growth. It affirms that your goals matter even when progress feels slow or invisible. Self-love through discipline strengthens your resilience and self-esteem. This commitment requires setting clear goals and breaking them into manageable tasks. Knowing what needs to be done helps maintain direction and motivation. It prevents drifting into aimless effort. Clarity combined with private hard work accelerates results and deepens satisfaction. Reflection enhances the value of unseen hard work. Regularly reviewing your progress and challenges helps you stay aligned with your vision. It allows adjustments and learning from mistakes. Reflection also renews motivation by connecting daily effort to meaningful outcomes. This connection makes the unseen labor feel purposeful and rewarding. Avoid comparing your private efforts with others' public successes. Everyone has a unique journey with unseen struggles. Focus on your own path and progress. This focus reduces frustration and fosters patience. It keeps you committed to your standards rather than external benchmark. Remember that the most admired leaders, artists, athletes, and innovators all built their greatness through countless hours of unnoticed work. Their discipline when no one was watching shaped their extraordinary results. Following their example requires courage and faith in yourself. Hard work done quietly prepares you for opportunities when they arise. It ensures you are ready to perform at your best when recognition comes. This readiness is a direct result of the unseen effort and practice. When you commit to this unseen work, you create a powerful cycle of preparation and performance. In conclusion, doing hard work even when no one is watching is a testament to your integrity, resilience, and self-mastery. It separates those who merely dream from those who achieve. It builds confidence, trust, and momentum that propel you toward your highest goals. Embracing this truth kills the weak version of yourself and awakens the disciplined, committed, and unstoppable force within. Chapter 17. Challenge yourself and never settle for average. Settling for average means accepting limitations that are not truly yours. Challenging yourself is the essential path to growth and transformation. Growth never happens by staying comfortable or repeating what you already know. It requires pushing boundaries, testing limits, and daring to face discomfort head-on. When you commit to challenge yourself, you break free from mediocrity and tap into your highest potential. Challenge fuels progress. It forces you to stretch skills, expand your mindset, and develop resilience. Without challenge, the mind and body stagnate. They settle into patterns that maintain the status quo, but never lead to real change. By stepping into difficulty regularly, you create opportunities for learning and improvement. Challenge is not a barrier, but a gateway to strength. Never settling for average means setting high standards for yourself in every area of life. Average is the enemy of excellence. It's the comfort zone disguised as a safe place. While average may feel familiar, it slowly erodes your ambition and dulls your spirit. Excellence requires refusing to accept less than your best effort and continuously raising your expectations. This refusal builds discipline and fuels relentless pursuit of growth. Challenging yourself demands courage. Fear often holds people back from pushing beyond their limits. Fear of failure, rejection, or discomfort convinces the mind to stay safe. Yet, courage is not the absence of fear, but the choice to act despite it. When you face fear and challenge head-on, you gain confidence and develop mental toughness. Each challenge overcome strengthens your belief in what you are capable of achieving. Growth comes from intentional discomfort. Seeking challenges means embracing situations that feel uncomfortable because they require effort and change. This discomfort signals progress, not failure. When you welcome discomfort, you build resilience and adaptability. This readiness prepares you for unexpected obstacles and opportunities alike. Avoiding discomfort guarantees stagnation. Embracing it ignites transformation. Setting ambitious goals is a practical way to challenge yourself. Goals that push your limits require new skills and strategies. They force you to develop habits that support progress. Ambitious goals create excitement and focus, motivating you to persist through difficulties. Without clear goals, challenges become random struggles. With goals, challenges become purposeful steps toward achievement. Challenging yourself includes seeking feedback and criticism. Honest feedback exposes blind spots and areas for improvement. It can be uncomfortable but is essential for growth. Welcoming critique requires humility and openness. Leaders and achievers use feedback as a tool to sharpen their skills and refine their approach. This willingness to learn from others accelerates progress. Consistently challenging yourself also means embracing failure as a necessary part of the journey. Failure is not a reflection of your worth, but a signal that you are stretching beyond current limits. Each failure offers lessons and insights that build experience and wisdom. When you reframe failure as feedback, you remove its power to discourage and instead use it to propel forward. Challenge enhances creativity. When faced with obstacles, your mind must find new ways to solve problems. This process builds innovation and resourcefulness. The more you challenge yourself, the more flexible and imaginative your thinking becomes. Creativity flourishes in environments where limits are tested and new paths explored. Never settling for average requires persistence. Progress is often slow and uneven. Challenges will sometimes overwhelm you or tempt you to give up. Persistence means staying committed to your path, despite setbacks or delays. It's the steady effort over time that creates lasting change. This perseverance distinguishes those who succeed from those who quit. A growth mindset is key to embracing challenge. Believing that abilities can be developed through effort opens you to learning and improvement. A fixed mindset, on the other hand, sees challenges as threats and abilities as static. Cultivating a growth mindset transforms obstacles into opportunities and failure into progress. This mental shift empowers you to approach challenges with curiosity and determination. Challenging yourself requires surrounding yourself with people who inspire and push you. Your environment influences your beliefs and actions. When you associate with high achievers and those who value growth, you are motivated to rise to their level. Positive peer pressure can challenge complacency and raise your standards. Avoid environments that promote comfort at the expense of growth. Reflection supports challenging yourself by helping you understand your progress and setbacks. Regularly reviewing your actions and results provides insight into what works and what needs change. This awareness enables smarter, more targeted challenges. Reflection also renews motivation by connecting your efforts to your larger purpose and vision. Balancing challenge with self-care is vital. Pushing yourself relentlessly without rest leads to burnout. Challenge should stretch you, not break you. Prioritize recovery, healthy habits, and mental wellness to sustain growth over time. When you care for your body and mind, you maintain the energy and focus needed to face ongoing challenges. Challenging yourself reshapes identity. As you accomplish difficult tasks and overcome obstacles, you begin to see yourself as capable, strong, and worthy. This new self-image fuels further growth and ambition. Identity built on challenge and achievement creates a virtuous cycle that propels you beyond average. Success demands breaking free from comfort and complacency. Challenge is the engine of transformation. By pushing beyond easy limits, you unlock your potential and build a life of meaning and accomplishment. Settling for average sacrifices your true capacity. Refuse to accept less than you are capable of becoming. Challenge yourself daily and never stop climbing toward your best self. Chapter 18. Take bold action and stop waiting for motivation. Waiting for motivation to arrive before taking action is a trap that keeps many stuck in place. Motivation is unpredictable and often fleeting. Relying on it as the spark to start or continue your journey sets you up for inconsistency and disappointment. Bold action does not wait for perfect feelings or ideal circumstances. It is a deliberate choice to move forward regardless of how motivated or inspired you feel. When you take bold action, you create momentum that fuels motivation rather than waiting for motivation to create momentum. Bold action requires embracing uncertainty and risk. It means stepping outside comfort zones and confronting fears directly. Often the fear of failure or judgment causes hesitation. Recognizing that no action is guaranteed to succeed frees you to try anyway. Boldness is not reckless, but calculated courage. It's the willingness to start imperfectly and improve along the way. This mindset shifts your energy from paralysis to progress. Taking bold action transforms abstract goals into tangible results. Ideas and plans remain dreams without action. Every small step forward builds confidence and capability. Action exposes what works and what needs adjustment. It reveals new opportunities and possibilities that are invisible from inaction. When you act boldly, you generate feedback that sharpens your approach and increases effectiveness. Waiting for motivation often leads to procrastination. Tasks pile up, opportunities pass, and regrets accumulate. This cycle breeds frustration and self-doubt. Breaking free means deciding that the moment to act is now. Starting before you feel ready creates a powerful psychological shift. Momentum builds with each completed step, reducing resistance and increasing enthusiasm. The first move is often the hardest but also the most transformative. Bold action requires clarity on your priorities and values. Knowing what matters most directs your energy effectively. When your actions align with your deeper purpose, they feel meaningful even if motivation fluctuates. This alignment sustains commitment during difficult times. It roots your boldness in conviction rather than fleeting emotion. Small, consistent actions can be bold when they push your limits. Boldness is not only grand gestures, but also persistent effort in everyday tasks. Choosing to focus deeply, persist through obstacles, or speak up despite discomfort are acts of courage. These daily choices accumulate into major breakthroughs over time. Boldness is a habit cultivated through repeated intentional actions. Accountability accelerates bold action. Sharing your goals and commitments with trusted individuals increases pressure to follow through. This external support reduces excuses and builds momentum. Accountability partners can provide encouragement and honest feedback. This network strengthens your resolve and helps maintain action when motivation wanes. Fear of failure often blocks boldness. Reframing failure as learning rather than defeat removes this barrier. Every setback offers insight and growth. Embracing failure as part of the process encourages experimentation, risk-taking. When you stop fearing failure, you open the door to innovation and breakthrough. Preparation supports bold action by reducing uncertainty. Planning steps, gathering resources, and anticipating challenges create confidence. This preparation does not guarantee success but reduces obstacles. When you prepare wisely, bold moves become calculated steps rather than blind leaps. This balance of courage and planning increases the likelihood of positive outcomes. Bold action builds self-trust. Each decision to act, despite doubts, reinforces your belief in your own capabilities. This trust grows your inner strength and resilience. Over time, you develop a reliable internal drive that sustains effort through ups and downs. Self-trust fuels a cycle of boldness and achievement. Embracing discomfort is necessary for bold action. Growth lies beyond ease and certainty. Choosing action over comfort strengthens your capacity to handle adversity. This acceptance of discomfort deepens mental toughness and adaptability. Bold people learn to welcome challenge rather than avoid it. Bold action inspires others. When you take decisive steps, you become a model of courage and possibility. Your example encourages those around you to overcome their own fears and hesitation. This ripple effect multiplies impact beyond your individual effort. Leading through action influences communities and creates positive change. Reflection enhances the power of bold action. Regularly assess your progress, challenges, and lessons learned. This practice increases self-awareness and sharpens decision-making. Reflection connects daily actions to long-term vision, reinforcing motivation and purpose. It allows you to celebrate wins and course-correct when necessary. Bold action requires letting go of perfectionism. Waiting for perfect conditions or flawless execution leads to stagnation. Accepting imperfection frees you to begin and improve continuously. Progress, not perfection, drives transformation. Each imperfect step brings you closer to mastery and success. Mindset shifts unlock boldness. Replacing doubts with empowering beliefs expands your possibilities. Affirming your ability to handle challenges builds confidence. Visualizing success strengthens resolve. Cultivating optimism fuels sustained effort. Your mindset sets the tone for your actions. Bold action demands commitment. It is a daily choice to push beyond excuses and hesitation. Commitment anchors you through setbacks and distractions. It transforms good intentions into consistent effort. This steady dedication shapes habits and character. Prioritizing bold action over waiting changes your relationship with time. You recognize the urgency of the present moment. Procrastination gives way to intentional use of time. You create opportunities instead of passively hoping for them. This shift leads to greater productivity and fulfillment. Bold action balances courage with wisdom. It involves taking risks but also evaluating consequences. Wise boldness integrates confidence with discernment. It avoids reckless impulsivity and embraces thoughtful decisiveness. This balance enhances effectiveness and sustainability. Taking bold action rewires your brain for success. Repeated courageous choices build neural pathways that make boldness easier over time. This neuroplasticity strengthens habits of initiative and persistence. The more you act boldly, the more natural it becomes. In the end, waiting for motivation keeps you stuck in a cycle of inaction and regret. Bold action breaks this cycle by choosing to move forward despite uncertainty and fear. This choice transforms you from a passive dreamer into an active creator of your life. Taking bold action is the key to killing the weak version of yourself and stepping into your full power. Chapter 19. Reflect deeply and upgrade your standards regularly. Deep reflection is the key to personal evolution. Without pausing to honestly evaluate your actions, mindset and progress, growth becomes random and shallow. Reflection brings clarity and understanding, allowing you to see where you are, how far you've come, and what still needs improvement. It transforms experience into wisdom by encouraging you to analyze outcomes and learn from them. Regular reflection builds self-awareness, the foundation for meaningful change. Upgrading your standards means raising the expectations you hold for yourself in every area of life. Standards shape your decisions, behaviors, and ultimately your identity. When standards are low, complacency sets in, and mediocrity thrives. By consciously raising your standards, you challenge yourself to grow beyond old limits and embrace new possibilities. Higher standards fuel ambition, discipline, and resilience. Reflection and upgrading standards work hand in hand. As you reflect on your current habits and results, you recognize where you have settled or compromised. This awareness pushes you to elevate your expectations. Each new standard becomes a target for action and growth. This cycle keeps you moving forward, preventing stagnation and encouraging continuous improvement. Taking time for deep reflection requires creating quiet, uninterrupted space. This may mean journaling, meditating, or simply sitting in stillness. The goal is to slow down your mind and observe your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors without judgment. Such clarity helps you uncover patterns, strengths, and weaknesses that are often invisible in the rush of daily life. Reflection is an act of self-honesty and courage. During reflection, ask yourself tough questions. Are my actions aligned with my values and goals? Where have I been holding myself back? What habits or beliefs no longer serve me? What successes am I proud of, and what can I learn from failures? Honest answers to these questions guide you toward meaningful adjustments. Reflection is not about self-criticism, but about constructive evaluation. Upgrading your standards often requires discomfort. It means refusing to settle for past achievements or easy routine. This discomfort signals growth and challenges you to stretch beyond comfort zones. When you raise standards, you might face resistance from your own doubts or external influences. Pushing through this resistance builds mental toughness and strengthens commitment to your vision. Clear, specific standards are easier to uphold than vague goals. Define what excellence looks like in your actions, mindset, and relationships. For example, instead of saying I want to work harder, specify I will dedicate 2 focused hours daily to skill development. Concrete standards create measurable benchmarks that track progress. This clarity empowers you to take consistent, purposeful action. Reflection reveals the importance of flexibility when upgrading standards. Life circumstances and priority evolve, and your standards should adapt accordingly. Flexibility does not mean lowering standards, but adjusting them to fit new context wisely. This dynamic approach prevents burnout and keeps growth sustainable. Reflection allows you to assess whether your standards remain realistic and motivating. Upgrading standards also applies to your environment. Surround yourself with people who embody the values and excellence you aspire to. Their influence raises your expectations and provides support for your growth. Likewise, create physical and mental spaces that encourage focus, creativity, and discipline. Your environment should reflect and reinforce your elevated standards. Celebrate progress during reflection. Recognizing achievements, even small ones, builds motivation and confidence. Gratitude for growth encourages continued effort and optimism. Celebration balances the challenge of raising standards with positive reinforcement. It reminds you that growth is a journey with milestones worth honoring. Reflection helps identify limiting beliefs that lower standards. These internal stories can sabotage effort and diminish confidence. Awareness of such beliefs enables you to challenge and replace them with empowering thoughts. Upgrading your mindset is essential to sustaining higher standards. Belief in your potential fuels discipline and ambition. Regularly upgrading your standards keeps you aligned with your evolving vision. As you grow, what once seemed ambitious becomes insufficient. New goals and behaviors are necessary to maintain momentum. This continuous renewal prevents complacency and keeps your journey dynamic and engaging. Reflection also sharpens decision-making. By understanding past choices and outcomes, you make wiser future decisions. Better decisions accelerate progress and reduce setbacks. This clarity creates a positive feedback loop that strengthens growth. Commit to a schedule for reflection and upgrading standards. Consistency builds the habit and embeds these practices into your lifestyle, whether weekly, monthly, or quarterly. Regular reflection sessions anchor your growth rhythm. This discipline ensures that your evolution remains intentional and focused. Upgrading your standards impacts all areas of life: health, relationships, work, and personal development. Holistic growth creates balance and fulfillment. Setting high standards in one area while neglecting others leads to imbalance. Reflection helps maintain harmony across life domains. Reflection fosters humility by revealing both strengths and areas for improvement. Humility opens you to learning and collaboration. It prevents arrogance and complacency that hinder growth. Embracing humility enhances resilience and adaptability. Elevated standards cultivate self-respect and integrity. When you consistently meet your own high expectations, you build trust in yourself. This self-trust empowers you to face challenges and setbacks with confidence. Integrity becomes a guiding principle that supports all your actions. Reflection deepens your connection to purpose. Understanding the meaning behind your efforts fuels perseverance. Purpose-driven standards motivate sustained effort beyond fleeting desires. This connection transforms discipline into passion. Remember that growth is a lifelong journey. Reflection and upgrading standards are ongoing processes that evolve with you. There is no final destination but continuous ascent. This mindset keeps you engaged and excited about your potential. In conclusion, deep reflection and regularly upgrading your standards are essential for killing the weak version of yourself. They foster self-awareness, ambition, resilience, and integrity. These practices transform experience into wisdom and potential into achievement. By committing to reflection and higher standards, you build a life of power, purpose, and continuous improvement. Chapter 20: End the weak self and live with real purpose. Ending the weak version of yourself means breaking free from habits and beliefs that limit your true potential. It requires confronting uncomfortable truths about where you have held back and why. This process demands courage and honesty because it asks you to let go of familiar but harmful patterns. The weak self clings to excuses, fears, and avoidance. To live with real purpose, you must dismantle these barriers and rebuild from a foundation of strength, clarity, and commitment. Real purpose comes from understanding what truly matters to you beyond superficial desires or external approval. It is rooted in values that guide your decisions and fuel your actions consistently. Living with purpose brings meaning to daily efforts and aligns your energy with goals that matter. Without purpose, even success can feel hollow and unfulfilling. Purpose is the compass that directs your journey through challenges and distractions. Killing the weak self begins with responsibility. Accepting full ownership of your life removes victimhood and excuses. Responsibility empowers you to take control of your actions and outcomes. This mindset shifts power back into your hands and dissolves feelings of helplessness. It invites proactive behavior rather than reactive responses. Transforming your identity is central to ending the weak self. Identity is shaped by repeated thoughts, choices, and behaviors. Changing who you are means consistently acting in ways that reflect strength, discipline, and authenticity. Each decision to act with integrity and courage rewires your sense of self. Over time, your identity evolves from weak and reactive to strong and intentional. Purpose requires clarity. Defining your mission and vision provides a roadmap for your life. This clarity filters distractions and helps prioritize effort. Without clear purpose, energy dissipates in scattered actions. When you know what you stand for and where you want to go, your motivation becomes intrinsic and unwavering. Living purposefully demands discipline. It means committing to actions aligned with your goals, even when motivation fades or obstacles arise. Discipline bridges the gap between intention and achievement. It transforms vision into reality by enforcing consistent habit. Without discipline, purpose remains a vague idea rather than a lived experience. Emotional mastery is essential in killing the weak self. The weak version is ruled by impulses, fears, and doubts. Developing emotional resilience allows you to navigate setbacks and discomfort with composure. This mastery prevents destructive patterns like avoidance or self-sabotage. When emotions serve rather than control you, decisions become deliberate and empowering. Surrounding yourself with supportive influences strengthens your transformation. Relationships shape beliefs and behaviors. Aligning with people who embody strength and purpose creates a positive feedback loop. These connections inspire, challenge, and hold you accountable. Removing toxic influences frees energy and reinforces your new identity. Purposeful living requires ongoing growth. The journey does not end once the weak self is killed. Continuous learning, self-reflection, and upgrading standards are necessary to maintain and deepen strength. Growth keeps you adaptable and ready for new challenges. It prevents complacency and fuels lifelong fulfillment. Sacrifices are part of ending the weak self. Letting go of instant gratification, comfort zones, and limiting attachments creates space for new possibilities. These sacrifices are investments in your future strength and purpose. Embracing them requires a long-term mindset focused on legacy and impact. Taking bold action cements your break from weakness. Purpose without action is powerless. Every step taken in alignment with your values strengthens your resolve. Boldness signals commitment to yourself and your mission. It builds momentum and confidence that sustain progress. Self-compassion supports this transformation. Rejecting the weak self does not mean harsh judgment or denial of past mistakes. Instead, it involves kindness and forgiveness as you grow. Self-compassion balances accountability with encouragement. It nurtures resilience by preventing burnout and despair. Living with real purpose creates profound satisfaction. It fills life with significance and direction. Purpose transforms challenges into opportunities and setbacks into lessons. It inspires daily effort and perseverance. This fulfillment anchors happiness beyond fleeting pleasures. Authenticity is the core of purpose. The weak self often hides behind masks to avoid vulnerability or rejection. Ending weakness means embracing your true self fully. Authenticity builds deeper connections and aligns actions with inner truth. It frees energy wasted on pretense. Purpose influences all aspects of life, including relationships, career, health, and personal growth. It creates harmony by aligning choices with core values. This integration reduces internal conflict and increases peace. Purposeful alignment generates lasting success and well-being. Mindset is critical to sustaining purposeful living. Believing in your worthiness and ability fuels perseverance. Positive beliefs overcome doubt and setbacks. A growth mindset embraces challenges as opportunities. This outlook empowers you to evolve continuously. Reflection enhances purposeful living by connecting daily actions to long-term meaning. Regularly assessing progress and intentions refines your path. Reflection renews motivation and ensures alignment. It cultivates gratitude for growth and learning. Purpose demands patience. Transformation takes time and consistent effort. Immediate results are rare. Patience sustains you through difficulties and delays. Trusting the process strengthens faith in your journey. Ending the weak self unleashes your full potential. It releases energy trapped in fear, procrastination, and self-doubt. This liberation empowers creative expression, courageous decisions, and impactful action. Living with purpose ignites passion and drives achievement. Your life is shaped by the choices you make today. Choosing to kill the weak version of yourself is the most important decision you can make. It opens the door to a stronger, wiser, and more fulfilled existence. Real purpose is waiting on the other side of that choice. Commit to this transformation fully. Act with courage and clarity. Embrace discipline and growth. Live authentically and with intention. This path leads to a life that matters. A life where your true power shines through and your impact endures.